Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
Are you looking for stories of business innovation and resilience? Right now, you can tune into the Wondery podcast, How I Built This, to catch bonus episodes sponsored by Klaviyo. These episodes explore the journeys of up-and-coming entrepreneurial phenoms like Fishwife, diving deep into some of the practical challenges businesses face. With the insight of some special guests, you won't want to miss this. So, are you ready to get inspired? Check out How I Built This, sponsored by Klaviyo, wherever you get your podcasts. And make every moment count with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/BFCM.
Christopher, listeners, I want to be very, very clear about something right at the top of this broadcast this week. I would commit a crime and go to jail if that was the only way to get a front row seat to Kitara Ravash performing in a prison talent show. I really would. Let's think of a nonviolent crime that can get me in there for a couple of weeks when that bitch gets sentenced. I mean,
can't we be the press? Can't we get press passes for prison? Is that a thing?
Wonderful.
You know what I'm saying?
George Santos would pay-per-view that, obviously. Like he'll monetize his jail stay for sure. If you don't know what we're talking about, George Santos is pleading guilty to everything he said he didn't do, and now may serve 6 to 8 years in the clink. The Hooskow.
What a fall from grace.
Oh, God. Was he really ever at grace, though?
No. But it was just really, I mean, wow. Wowie. You think your past isn't going to catch up to you, and it does.
I just love that mainstream media outlets describe him as a fabulist. Like, I just think it's fantastic.
What even is that? What does that mean? That's homophobic, by the way. I know he's a
faggot
monster,
who embellishes. That's a fabulist.
Yeah.
Chris, by the way, we are fabulous.
Those?
Yeah, like we are 100%. Fixing fabulous people should be the name of this podcast. Bye, Kitara. I don't know. I'm feeling he's going in. I'm feeling like he's going in.
He's had 2 years to prepare for this. So,
yeah,
you know.
And there's no wisecracking tweets coming from him either.
No,
so
sure not. No. He's like, I'm in it. Yeah. He's on his best behavior, which is good because that means he's taking this seriously.
Speaking of taking things seriously, I'm wondering whether or not we reported erroneously when we said that Gypsy Rose Blanchard was 100% sure about who the father of her baby was, because it appears now that the question of the paternity of her child is still very much up in the air and will not be determined until the baby is born.
I think she knows in her heart who's the father, but I think that the internet is like, I don't think so. Which isn't really up to the internet, in my opinion.
It's definitely not. But
Will I be watching the show where they take the paternity test on the show? Yes.
Sure. Will I be switching the DNA like Sheila Carter on The Bold and the Beautiful to drag this on for another 6 seasons? Yeah, also, yes.
Sure. Yeah, that's horrible.
But here's a fun fucking fact about this. Apparently, if she is not fully divorced from Ryan Anderson before the baby is born, in the state of Louisiana, which is where she lives, Ryan Anderson will be listed as the father if they're still married when this baby is born. It's like some archaic voodoo
Are you serious?
law. That is according to TMZ, who, is reliable-ish, I think when it comes to that.
I was clicking through some of the links you sent over before this, and we're getting a lot of our news from TMZ recently and not our Us Weeklies or People.com. I'm starting to get, or even the New York Post itself. And I'm getting a little nervous, Dominic.
First of all, we are not fact-based, so it shouldn't matter what the sources are.
I know, but I want to at least
the reverence you give people and Us Weekly is, as though they are very mindful, very demure. They are still people in Us Weekly.
The font on, first of all, how dare you say mindful demure? I thought we were really going to get through this whole podcast without saying it, and I'm now upset. Two, just the font of the titles on TMZ is like, it's arresting to the eye.
It is offensive. It is definitely
it's not fun. It is. I don't like it. I don't like being on TMZ. Like,
I'll talk to my team.
Upsets me.
I'll talk to my team about where we're sourcing the information from. My team is, of course, me, and the lead time is 15 minutes before you and I meet in this chat room. So,
however, like, here we go. Next story, clicking right through, is a New York Post article, like God intended.
Okay, well, also, the New York Post is not exactly, like, I don't think that the Post is any journalistically better than TMZ.
No, but it's at least, I don't know, there's something about it it's not adjacent to the National Enquirer, and TMZ's font choices is doing everything that it can to liken itself to the National Enquirer.
Right.
Does that make sense to you? Yeah. That's what I think.
Let's move on. Now that we're here with the ultra reliable New York Post, let's move on with what happened right after last week's Pre-Fixe was that all these people got arrested and charged. As we reported here weeks ago, no matter what the source was, in the death of Matthew Perry.
Listen, I mean, American Crime Story.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Things like I wish, like when the Salvation Army has like those people dinging the bell at Christmas. I'm like, that's me. Ding, 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 ding. Here it is, right here.
His assistant, his doctor, this bitch who's called the Ketamine Queen, Miss Jasveen Sangha. Well.
Every circuit party should have a contest to crown the Ketamine Queen.
I bet the moment that story broke and we found out the person's name was Jasveen Sangha, Charlize Theron just called up her agent and said, I want it. And hung up.
Yeah, like, book it tomorrow. Click. Yeah.
I mean, utterly fantastic.
This needs to
Someone is dead. That's not what is fantastic.
It's absolutely horrifying. But I'm glad that they're like, get them. You know what I mean?
This is a future. This Ryan Murphy got a boner when this happened.
100%.
Like, there's no doubt.
100%.
But you know what? This never happens. So although it is terrible that Matthew Perry has died, obviously, the fact that there was an investigation here is because he's a fucking celebrity. So because of that, they're actually pursuing the people that sell drugs to addicts or provide it for them. And that's sort of monumental. So good on you, LAPD, and whoever else is involved, because
for once.
Yeah. It's a shame. I'm sure they'll now go back, and everyone else who's died of an overdose that wasn't a celebrity, I'm sure they'll get justice.
Yeah, sure. But I am not going to lie. Every article that comes out, I'm like reading it. I'm like perusing the Ketamine Queen, all of them. Like the assistant that was like,
it's a ready-made,
like, give me a big one or something like that. I mean, it's heartbreaking. Yep. It's heartbreaking.
Of course.
So we're not done with this anytime soon.
No
I promise
way.
You that.
No way. Speaking of heartbreaking, Ray Gunn, the Australian breakdancer who scored 0 points, who we spoke about here last week, she wants everyone to stop. She's had enough. And truly, who can blame her? I mean, she's been all over the news for now almost 2 weeks and has been like a real meme target.
Yeah.
People are impersonating her and breakdancing badly. I mean, it's TikTok.
Funny, which I love. I mean, Remy Casimir, friend of the show, was doing it on her Instagram story.
I got to look that up. I love Remy.
This is the thing. When you walk onto the world stage, you better come correct, is all I'm going to say.
But listen to this one other fact before we move on. Australians have signed a petition to hold her accountable for unethical conduct.
No.
Australia.
No, this is too much.
I know you're a prison colony, but this is cold even for you.
That's too much.
How many coals must this woman be raked over?
That is the line. That is the line. She doesn't need to be held criminally accountable.
Are we going to sign a petition and give it to J-Lo for making us sit through Atlas? Is that the next step for us now?
No. I have to stand for something.
My
and I will
God,
stand for
Australia.
This. Dear God.
Scott Peterson. Were you old enough to remember this Lacey Peterson murder?
Yeah, it was big. That was big. And I was I was probably in high school. What year was it?
Around the turn of the century-ish. I think he's been in jail for nearly it was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, 2002. I was a kid, but I remember vividly.
Yeah, it was big news. It was big news. Well, he's finally spoken, and he is appearing in this 3-part documentary about it, and he is still vehemently maintaining his
they did
innocence.
They did a documentary. I can't remember what service and or channel it was on, but they did one like I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago about Laci Peterson.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And there was a lot of evidence that they brought up in that one that they had never brought up before that I was like, oh, like I almost was like, I don't know if he killed her. And I'm usually, you know what I mean? I'm not just doing that to be like incendiary, but there was a part where I was like, and then with the fetus had drifted, there was a bunch of like criminal stuff that like they did in the trial that was like similar to in Serial when they were like, oh, the cell phone towers with Adnan. And it was like, actually, this actually like disproved their theory, but they tricked you into believing that it proved it. I think there was like something like that. At least this one other thing I watched was kind of trying to prove that. And, you know, I wasn't dissuaded.
Well, you guys heard it here first. Chris DeRosa on the record saying Laci Peterson committed suicide. Very rude. Are you Australian? I mean, how cold are you going to get?
But I don't know. Is that in this? Have you watched this yet? I was almost going to watch it.
No.
I think I'm gonna, because I'm really interested, because I don't know. There's something where like there was this person that said, oh no, the mailman said that no one was there, and they like glossed over that or something. There was something about a mailman corroborating something with Scott that was like crucial.
Right.
So I'm interested to see if they bring that up in this.
I mean, I'm back in Provincetown, and when I'm here, I don't really watch stuff. I just
watch Caricature Party.
I just do pop and walk up and down the street waiting for someone to smell them, knowing it's an invitation.
That's and you watch, what's the thing you made us watch in
Battle
the guy farting. No, the guy farting.
Oh, Super Stupid Poop on YouTube. My favorite fucking YouTube channel. My dad and I cannot get enough of it.
I know.
Highly recommend Super Stupid Poop.
That and Caricature Party, our new favorite thing.
Caricature Party on Instagram is a bullying. It's a bullying page.
It is bullying. It
is really hilarious.
But it's the best shit ever. Yeah, I want to know. I want to see what's up.
He maintains
it's crazy to think
he was abducted by other people.
That was 22 years ago that and I remember it like it was yesterday. And then obviously Gone Girl was like very much
that.
Yeah. Gone Girl was like ripped right from him.
Yep.
Scott.
There's no segue for this. The nation of Spain hates Katy Perry, and I believe is suing her because she walked on the wrong dunes shooting her latest music video.
Listen, she's on the list. We're looking for someone.
No one wants to fix her.
Pick up the mantle. No, people are ready. I think people are ready. My next reach out, I think someone's going to snatch her up right away. She's like category 5 Dire Straits.
She is also, it is announced last week, along with this bad news, she is going to be given at the MTV Video Awards or whatever they're called. Yes, they're still around. She's being given the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award.
She walked into MTV and was like, I'm begging you.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like she was like on her knees begging them to give her this award. Because everyone hates her now. Like everyone hates her.
You know what would be truly cunt is that if she insisted that she perform there and that the set was a dune in Spain, just to say, fuck you. Just do it. That I would have respect for, actually. If she was just like, you're going to hate me, hate this.
Well, she apparently didn't have any filming permits to do this filming that she did. And then she was like on this, like, there's like baby turtles that were like stomped to death because she was like dancing on these tunes.
Honestly, though, and I mean this, who amongst, honestly, like permits, as we know,
how many permits did you not get shooting a TV show? A million.
Let me tell you, I once watched an Amtrak train almost crashed because it ran over a tripod when we were shooting in Los Angeles, where the train goes from LA to San. Terrible. I won't even say the production because it should have been
nothing like that has ever happened to me. It's so funny when you go to this is like inside TV stuff, but in New York City, as long as you don't put down a tripod, you're like, you can shoot anywhere. publicly unless you're in a park. So it's like, you can shoot on the side of the street, whatever. You don't need a permit for that at all. So when I go to other places and they're like, well, we need to permit this block. I'm like, what do you mean you need to permit this block? Like, we're just doing an entrance, and it's like, you really can't unless you get a permit, which is fucking wild.
It's really crazy. A lot of shady things happen here, and you got to be, I mean, I will say that other than that train track tripod thing, I'm fairly ethical. I did once watch Jill Zarin murder a homeless person, though. Have I ever told you that story?
Dominic.
What? Just trying to up the listenership here by saying fake things.
Stop. Don't do this.
Start a scandal. If TMZ and the Post can do it, I can talk about Jill Zarin, for God's sakes. Yeah, Jill Zarin never murdered. Well, I don't know if she hasn't, but she didn't murder anyone in front of me. And she
have never seen her murder
lovely
anyone.
Diet Coke swilling woman.
Yeah.
Anna Delvey, who I know is one of your favorites. She is
I love her.
Back on social media. And if you click the link I sent you, Chris, it is to a very reputable source for you, people.com. And she has done a garden photo shoot to reintroduce herself to Instagram.
Oh God, she looks absolutely fucking crazy.
She does, but I think she looks beautiful. She looks crazy good, though.
No, her eyes are insane.
She's still under house arrest.
Oh, she has a picture. Why isn't this everywhere? This picture of her with the ankle monitor on. This is fucking amazing.
Well, I think it's new. I think it's new to us, like at the moment, possibly. I think that's right before the Pre-Fixe.
She looks like she got her entire face redone.
Oh yeah.
She looks crazy. And her eyes are bigger than big. Like they couldn't be bigger if they tried. But why can't we get our own houses in New York?
Well, is that a done deal? I mean, isn't it still a possibility?
Just why can't we do it? I just want that. I want her on Real Housewives of New York. Wouldn't that be fun? Or the Real Housewives of something?
I don't know. She can make up her own. What we really should do, and by the way, we're copywriting this right now.
Yeah.
No, it should be the Real Housewives of House Arrest, and it should just be shot in 5 different locations with women who only relate to each other on FaceTime. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Moving right along, we remember that Pax Jolie Pitt, who might now just be known as Pax Jolie, was in a horrible e-bike accident recently. He's making a recovery. Sources say that his father, Brad Pitt, has sent him well wishes and hopes that he gets to a good place. They haven't spoken, however.
No.
And Brad Pitt is apparently on his way to spend the rest of his summer with George Clooney in Italy. While all of his other children
Dominic,
legally drop Pitt from their last names.
That's bad. And another Shiloh just got the okay to be a Jolie again too.
Yep.
You're aware. This is really bad. Dominic, in an e-bike accident that, was hospitalized for in the ICU. Okay. So that's like possible death. And
these superstars are not good fathers. They're just not.
But not even rushing just for the cameras to see him rushing to the hospital. Let me
tell you. This morning in the Post, I saw pictures of Katie Holmes bringing Suri Cruise, moving her into her dorm in Carnegie Mellon. And I felt like the last paragraph of the article should have been, when Tom Cruise was asked what he thought about Suri going to college, he responded, who?
Yeah, no, actually, though.
It's the same thing. It's the same.
I know, but I didn't know. But
we know.
But Dominic, we know that Suri and Tom are not talking. Now this is proof to us right now that he does not even speak. Right.
Like if you have one child who's not talking to you, maybe the kid's part of the problem. But if you have 7 of them and they're all changing their last names, so history will not know you were their father, that's on you, kiddo. I mean, look, you might be hot, but you got to start owning up to this shit.
This is really bad. It's
coming. Is
are any of them 18? When they turn 18, are they going to pull
Pax is 20-something.
John and Kate plus 8 kids and just immediately go on Entertainment Tonight, immediately. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I need from them. I want the kids having for it, or just Angelina just do one interview with can't they get Brad in an interview with Hoda being why do your kids hate you? Come on, he'll never do it. He shouldn't. But I
don't think he'll ever do press again because that's the first thing anyone's ever going to ask.
Well, now he is a producer on every movie. Have you noticed this?
He has been for a while. Oh, that's been going on for years, sir.
He's now just making movies off that he's not even in. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what's happening here. So he's good to go because he doesn't even need to he doesn't need to be Brad Pitt anymore, which is a detriment to us because I want to hear the story.
Speaking of people who hate their parents, I'm about to speak about a goslin. Remember that word that was so a part of our lives for so many years?
I just said John and Kate plus 8. Yeah. Hates his mom. Oh my God.
Hates his mom because apparently when she had him committed at one point when he was a kid, that fact, I guess he was trying to be in the Marines, and when the Marines found out, they were like, "Ooh, no, that's one of the things that couldn't have happened."
Yeah.
So he hated her.
So
before.
It's Colin Gosselin. That's really
what did I say? Colin, yes. Unless it's pronounced in the more rare pronunciation, Colin, but I do believe it's Colin.
This is sad. I don't like
spitting image of his father, by the way.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't say spitting image. The kid's actually kind of cute. I never found John particularly attractive, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, explore more. John Gosselin regrets not starting Ozempic sooner after 32 pounds and 2 months of loss. Oh, God. They're still getting reported on.
Well, Colin has been dragging them back into the spotlight.
Yeah. It's so sad. They should be studied, this family, because they were ripped apart by reality television. No, and they were both monsters. The parents were both monsters, but like the fame for nothing.
One of them worse than the other. One of them just not smart enough to handle it. One of them Lady Macbeth. So it's sort of like,
yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that worked on that show, some of them for a long time, some of them for short times, because they were not interested because there were some real attitude problems.
Even in Kate Gosling's book, she's like, ugh, like the nurses never knew how to like take care of my kids. And it was like, no, you're like, should be happy these people are working or like volunteering to help you raise all your kids. Yeah.
I don't care.
Anyway.
There's a very big story in Hollywood, which seems to be getting bigger and more scandalous as the days go by. Joaquin Phoenix, 5 days before he was supposed to start shooting a Todd Haynes movie that he had actively developed and pushed forward for several years, 5 days before they're supposed to start shooting, he just quits, leaves the set in Mexico and returns to Hollywood. The opening line is, when Joaquin Phoenix abruptly exited Todd Haynes' gay romance movie last week, just 5 days before production, the actor set off a tidal wave that has now rippled far past the confines of its Guadalajara, Mexico set. And there's been a lot of outrage because for whatever his role was or whatever the deal was with this movie, it seems at the moment that they have to scrap the entire movie because they can't just replace him. Like, this isn't sort of like Christopher Plummer taking Kevin Spacey's spot. It's a bigger deal than that. And, there's accusations of diva behavior and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like this is a story that's going to pop up again, which will probably be bad for press time when Joker 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Like any minute from now.
Yeah. Like it's going to be really hard to be just like on the red carpet and be like, why aren't you shooting in Guadalajara right now? Like, right. And it being like the biggest story about him. And yeah, that's not great.
He joins the list of white male stars who can't walk a red carpet in 2024 because no one cares about their movies. They only care about what fucked up shit they've done.
Whatever scandal they're, yeah. But like, that's bad. Like, to walk away 5 days before you're starting shooting something, like,
oh yeah,
that's your reputation on the
line. This isn't a reality show where you're just like, well, we'll just eat the day. Like, this is like, they're shutting this entire movie down.
Yeah. And again, you're not an A-list actor because you do stuff like this. Like, you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you get cast in something like this, like, you take it seriously and you do it. You're not like walking off because you're like annoyed about something.
Right.
Or you didn't get your way, so you're going to throw a temper tantrum. Like, you can't.
Whatever, as the details will come out, whatever he did has cornered them that they can't shoot this movie.
This is big.
Because it's like, in show business, people they don't care. Someone was killed on the set of Rust, and it took 2 years for people to say to the producers, you're not still making this fucking movie. You can't do it. You know what I mean? For whatever, I just want to know what the reason is that they can't just put Christopher Plummer's dead. We'll put anyone in the Joaquin Phoenix part. Like, maybe he was contractually obligated to be the person to start. Who knows? But we'll see how it goes.
I have something very random to say.
Please.
Christopher Plummer makes me think of, obviously, Sound of Music, which was a movie that we almost watched the other night, but instead we watched The Godfather.
Okay. I mean, two classics, but go ahead.
Yeah, because I don't think Hassan had ever seen it, and I haven't seen it since I was like a literal child.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that Diane Keaton is in The Godfather.
Of course she is.
I know. That was never a thing that she was in. Like, in my mind, she wasn't in that movie, and that it was wild to see her in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, she's like it's one of the probably top 20 shots in his, like, the end of the movie where she's looking at him get his ring kissed and the door closes. That's
no, I know, but I just never put it that it was her. I always think of her as like Annie Hall and like all that. Right. And so it's like, but yeah, wow.
I mean, when Diane Keaton was first introduced to the world as Diane Keaton, she pretty much went from like iconic thing to iconic.
Yeah. Oh,
thing.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then down a Diane Keaton wormhole.
Something's Gotta Give, which is on my list of movies to watch.
The nude scene, the screaming.
I'm so sick of watching. I'm so sick of watching new things, and so I'm like, let's just go back to all the older movies that either we haven't seen since we were young, or have never seen that are like really famous movies, and that's what we're going to try to do a lot, and just sit on the couch and be lazy, which is my favorite thing to do ever. Anyway, continue on.
Well, since we're ranking on like white male celebrities who are problematic and of a certain age, Johnny Depp's come back pretty solidified. He has directed a biography called Modi, which will be debuting at the San Sebastian Film Festival. And at this point, it's sort of like Amber Who? Like he's moved on.
Also, like, who cares? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just like not super into him.
I don't know. Just know that Faye Dunaway respects him enough that she just refers to him as Depp, like Brando. She just calls him Depp. So, and I mean the real Faye Dunaway, not Bowen Yang, who is on Instagram as Faye Dunaway. Some sad news, which I think will be okay. Danielle Fishel of Boy Meets World. That's from your sort of era, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Announced on her podcast, Topanga, that she has breast cancer, which she discovered through a mammogram, but that she's going to be okay. And she's a pretty healthy person, which many people who get cancer are, which is the moral of the story is go get your mammogram.
She's married to the guy who pretended to have shrimp in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Remember that?
I don't know his name.
But neither do I, but that's who she's married to. And they were like, he's an abuser. And so I feel, that sucks.
Well, in better news, Eugene and Dan Levy are, in fact, hosting the Emmys, which now makes me not give a shit about who wins anything. I just want to watch.
It doesn't matter. I tried to. Okay, so I'm going through and watching all the Emmy noms.
Yeah.
That Slow Horses show.
I won't do it.
Give me a break. It was Slow Horses.
Well, yeah, they're telling you
it
in the title.
Called Slow is what it is. Because I was like, I'm 45 minutes into this thing and I have no idea what the fucking point of this show is. Like, dear God.
The DeRosa review will rewatch if it's recut as medium-paced horses. At least.
And then it's like, it's just very like, oh, let's give everyone something to do. And I'm like, can we get to like a story point once, maybe? Like, I mean,
honestly, the first time I ever heard of it was when the Emmy nominations were announced. And nothing about hearing it made me want to watch it.
No, it's not. Gary Oldman, like, fine. I don't know. Anyway.
Are you aware that Chris Martin of Coldplay and former Goopist, obviously, is dating Dakota Johnson?
No.
Dakota Johnson is shooting down rumors that they have broken up, which is how I found out they were even together. How long has this been going on? And do I care? That's
two people that I have a blind spot for that I just don't really care about.
All right.
You know? Like, sure. But like, who cares?
Paris Hilton's glam trailer burned down on the set of her new music video, Bad Bitch Academy, last week. Yes. Quote, and I'm quoting the Post, sadly, an accidental fire broke out in my trailer on the set of my music video today. As heartbreaking as it is, I'm thankful everyone is safe.
Someone leaves like an iron on. Someone left a hair straightener on and it burned to the ground.
You know, you got to make sure there's no sparks in the bong before you leave the house. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Put water on
I'm glad that everyone's okay.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Maybe some of that fake hair just rubbed against itself and burst into flames. I mean, any wigs were probably in that trailer.
Truly. I don't know. I don't think she really wears that many wigs. I'm not going to lie to you.
I bet for this video she would have, though.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
Jamie Lynn Spears.
Death.
Apparently has hinted that she's been using Ozempic and shamelessly shared a disheveled makeup-free photo. Well, look who's trying to be relatable at the announcement that someone's about to play her in a movie and roast her cojones.
Yeah.
Nice
She's
try.
So fucked. She's so fucked.
Done, Jamie Lynn.
She's done for. And everyone that's doing like, oh, what's my like funny casting of this movie? It's all Jamie Lynn is always like someone's like brother that's like not an actor. Like everyone is slamming her within an inch of her life with these like funny fake castings.
She's quaking.
She's done. She should be quaking in her little fucking boots.
So as a programming note, before we get into one of our bigger stories of the week, we encourage you now more than ever, if you do not subscribe to our Patreon, to do so, because the episodes over there are getting more unhinged and, well, unairable on this platform because they're just crossing the
unairable
line.
To the general public is what they end. And if your
it's
ears
adult entertainment, you have to pay for this.
Yeah, it is. It's pay-per-view. It really is. And if your ears perk up at that, then
while doing an episode with Dame Erin Bagwell, the Buffalo medium, she channeled Marilyn Monroe, and without giving away too many details, our response was for one of us to do an unhinged impersonation of deceased Marilyn Monroe about what was going through her mind when the subway blew the air up her skirt.
And if you can guess which one of those is us, I'll give you a prize. And I don't know what that prize is. It's a thank you, or it's a like on Instagram. If
the hashtag Subway dust does not become something, we're not doing this podcast anymore. I don't know what else to do to make people listen.
All jokes aside, we are putting some really good stuff up on the Patreon. And I know we don't really plug it a lot. And so I want to make sure that you guys know that $5 gets you in the door. It gets you, the glossary of terms of all of our unhinged terms and stupid things we say on this show. It gives you the popular vote where you get to vote on who you think should have won the episode. $10 tier is getting you cutting room floor of all the unhinged rants that we take out of the show because we don't want to be sued and or just for time. And of course, the $20 tier gets you everything. And that gets you bonus episodes, invites to the live Zooms, all of it. We have a lot of really funny episodes about, we're starting to do fixing dead people, which is something that the Long Island Iced Tea tier, the $20 tier, has been telling us we want to do. So we're going to be fixing some dead people like Marilyn Monroe. Mm-hmm. We've done episodes about, the unfixables list. We've done episodes about the invincibles list. Dominick and Jess Rothschild has destroyed me about watching Truth or Dare Madonna. We have a lot of really good stuff up there.
Come on by. Try it for a month and see what happens. If you hate it, cancel it. It's like anything.
Try it for a month. And listen, if you want to think about this, $20 is a lot of money. Think about you're buying me and Dominick each a shitty mixed drink for $10 once a month. Would you do that in real life if you knew us? If you went to the Duplex, would you buy us each a $10 drink? You would. I'm assuming.
So this is that.
This is that. It allows us to keep doing the show. So we thank you guys so much for those of you that subscribe. And if you're, come on by, and if you hate it, then you hate it and you'll cancel and it'll be fine. And all this to say, if you're a part of the Patreon, no matter what tier you're on, as long as you're in a paid tier of the Patreon, we are going to do an all-tier advice episode that we're going to release to all tiers. Write in your advice questions that you want us to answer. We're going to have some good guests, maybe the Buffalo Medium herself, maybe Rebecca Bregman. If you subscribe to the Patreon, write us a DM, give us your advice. We're going to answer it. And if that doesn't entice you to sign up for the Patreon, I don't know what will. It's only going to be over there, okay? You're not getting it here, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on by, bitches. All right, let's move on to Blake Lively. What on earth is happening?
Dominick,
there are many Blake Lively stories this week. She's the it girl this summer.
This story has polarized every group chat that I'm in, minus the one of me, you, Rebecca, and Tom.
Right.
Apparently, she's on the list. Justin Baldoni, who PS is on my list, ding dong. Woo! And he's also going to be on the list. They're going to be fixed. We're going to let the dust settle. They're like our new, please fix them, please fix them. Someone writes me every day, please fix them. Apparently, she's doing press for this movie that's about domestic violence and is my hair care line, ha. Whereas Justin Baldoni is this is a very important film about domestic violence and hopefully it helps women across the globe. And meanwhile, Blake Lively's doing QVC in hers. And then there's reports that he was a monster on set and he was directing it and starring in it. And that was bad. And he was mean to everyone. And then she tried to bring in Ryan Reynolds to write stuff for the movie and that was taking it a different direction and blah, blah, blah. It is a whirlwind of controversy.
I don't know what to say, mostly because I've never really given a shit about Blake Lively. Can you even imagine I'm saying
I'm she should be happy she has a role, let alone.
And people your age are I'm surprised.
Freaking. Well, yeah. Freaking out. It's wild because it's Meanwhile, this is all like alleged bullshit. Like it's all stupid. This is kind of like, what was that movie that I was going to say Not Without My Daughter?
Without My Daughter? The Sally Field movie?
Yes.
Which I'm sure is borderline offensive at this point because she appears in a burqa.
It's Don't Worry, Darling is the movie. Remember that? It's that, but like on steroids. Everyone is freaking about it. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone is like either pro Blake and anti Justin, or they're pro Justin and anti. Like it is such a polarizing situation that I'm like, it shouldn't be. They're both assholes. How about that?
How about it?
But I do want to see the movie now. And a lot of it was filmed in Hoboken. So I do actually want to see it.
Really? Just like Kiss of the Spider-Woman starring Jennifer Lynn Lopez.
Correct. And the Bob Dylan biopic.
All right, kids, are you ready to fix the Osbournes? And more importantly, are you ready to learn all of their fucking middle names? Well, then don't go anywhere because we will be doing so and disseminating that information after this incredibly important message.
All right. Before we even introduce our guest, she's already literally crying, laughing at Dominick's microphone that is glowing green. Her name is Alex.
I'm town and I still have this fucking dildo that I'm talking into, this gay dildo.
No, but it actually is one, though.
It is one, and it's blinking. It's different color. People,
I know. It is
I'm
one.
Dead.
Isn't it
I'm
great?
gagged. That's crazy. That's crazy. I should have known because I think you mentioned it on the last podcast.
Yes.
But this is...
No, seeing it in action is alarming, right?
Yeah. It is.
Also,
it's upsetting. You should absolutely show the people what you have going on here.
We'll do it again.
Okay.
Oh no, we will. We will. Don't
Instagram.
worry.
Well, now that we've said the word dildo, but before introducing our guest, Chris, maybe you can do that.
She's a longtime Clistener, first time guest. We love her. She's constantly blowing my phone up, being like, you need to be fixing this person. And 99.99999% of the time, she's right. It's Alex Tsuneta. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honored.
This is going to be unhinged because prior to hitting record, I was emailed a 5-page document written and curated by Alex.
Wait, it's not 5 pages. Oh my God, it is.
Oh,
it is certainly 5 pages. Ma'am.
No, she's done the Lana Del research. Yeah,
you've done the Osbournes. We are fixing the Osbournes today. And so this is, it's not just like a curation. It has personality in there. It says 2002, the Osbourne family invented reality TV. Parentheses, say thank you, Chris and Dominick. Like this document has an attitude. It is amazing. Now guests have shown up with research before. This is by far the most extensive. And I know I sound like I'm mocking it, but this is actually going to help move the discussion along. So
I really felt like it wasn't that great. I was like, I could have done more, but I was texting Chris. I gave up. This
was way more than what, please. This is like beyond.
Yeah.
I'm nothing if not a Capricorn.
And it shows. I mean, also in the middle of the day, the other day, you just sent me the video of Kelly Osbourne covering. And when I say the word covering, I mean that the most loose interpretation of covering the song Papa Don't Preach by Madonna.
I am going to have to post on Instagram the several times I have met and been photographed with Kelly Osbourne. It is just flying right back to me.
You have said that to me before.
Wait, hold on.
I know. she and honestly, all roads lead back to the duplex. The 2 times I met her was on the street at the duplex when I was sitting in the outdoor cafe. And both times, separate years, but both were around Pride. And she was walking by and other people were taking pictures. And I am not, I feel like I'll use the word famously, but I'm notoriously not fans of this entire family. We've been doing a lot of families lately that I'm not a fan of yet. I'm putting my whole heart and soul into trying to fix them, as I will do today, because I'm a Christian and that is what we do on this podcast.
Where do we begin, honestly? Like,
we already know, everyone knows who this family, so we're not going to give like that. But before we dive in, let's just play the middle name game. Get right into it.
I don't know any of their middle name. Okay.
Ozzy Osbourne was born John Osbourne.
No. His name is
really?
John.
No.
Mm-hmm. Ozzy is a nickname based on Osbourne. He was born in 1948 in England. He is 75 years old. What is John Osbourne's middle name?
Francis.
Alex?
I'm a little shook because I thought Ozzy was for like Ozymandias, and now I'm all sorts of turned around. Okay,
you're
John,
turned around.
Really? Or like Oswald or something? I guess I just always thought it was based on his last name.
Do you know that poem Ozymandias?
Mm-hmm.
That I thought it was
also a Breaking Bad episode, right?
That's right. Yeah. Good episode.
Dear God.
Okay, let me think. What did you guess, Chris?
Francis.
John Jim.
No,
Jim Osbourne.
John Michael Osbourne.
Damn it.
Osbourne.
Okay.
I get so mad whenever they're that easy. Like Michael's my actual middle name. So it's like when they're that easy, like that's when I could have guessed it and not Lutellius or like, Jessalyn or what all these fucking stupid ones.
Let's move on to his lovely bride, Sharon Osbourne, who was born Sharon either Levy or Levy, Levy. What is Sharon Levy Osbourne's middle name?
Carol.
That's what I was going to say.
Wow.
Wait, really?
Oh my God. But I'm going to change it now. No, it's not Carol. It's Sharon. She was also born in England, I'm assuming.
In 1952. She is 71 years of age.
Sharon Karen.
I fucking wish that was it. That would be absolutely fantastic.
We would just get off of this. We'd get off the Zoom. Like we'd be like, goodbye, everyone.
Sharon Rachel Osbourne.
No.
Yep.
Wow.
Like in Dolajol, okay. Sharon Rachel Osbourne.
She wishes.
Kelly Osbourne. She was born in 1984. She's 39 years of age. She too was born in England, London to be exact. What is Kelly Osbourne's middle name?
Kelly Michelle. Were you going to say Michelle too?
Seriously?
We're inextricably linked psychically.
Anne. I'm going to go Anne. Because that was my second guess.
It's Kelly fucking Michelle. It's Michelle. Yes.
We were right.
Wait, I was right for the first time ever.
And I didn't react. I didn't want to react. I was like, let's let this play out. Let's play it cool.
Oh my God.
Michelle Lee Osbourne. Yes, Michelle is her middle name.
Wow. I swear to God that was going to be my guess.
Has it happened before? Or
no.
This is the very first time?
This is the first time. This is in an unprecedented move. I have finally, I didn't think I was ever going to do this. I have finally guessed the middle name correctly.
I'm so proud of you.
The closest I've ever been is whenever when it was Bradley Cooper. And I said, it's not Charles, blah, blah, blah. And it was Charles.
It was Charles. And I wasn't paying attention and didn't stop you.
Yeah. Wow.
I was going to guess Michelle. I also feel like I was right.
Yes, correct.
But you were really right. Do we have a trophies or anything we can?
No, but wow. No. Guys, this is unprecedented.
This is a great moment. The tectonics are absolutely shifting now.
Oh, the plates are shifting. The plates are shifting.
Let's move on to Jack Osbourne.
Wow, guys.
Also born in London. He is 38 years old. What is Jack Osbourne's middle name?
John.
I'm on a high. I don't even know. Jack would be, is it really Jack? Is Jack for Jack?
Jack, one moment. Let me refer to my source. Yes, it is
Wikipedia.
Jack Osbourne.
Jack.
Let me call my contact at MI6.
Yeah. Jack. The word Scott is coming to me, but I don't think that's it.
Fuck. I thought you were going to guess this, and I was going to lose my shit like when someone gets both showcases on The Price is Right and you just pass out.
Yeah.
It is Joseph, Jack Joseph Osbourne.
No, I wasn't going there.
Alex said John, I thought for sure. I'm like, oh, he's in the zone now. He's going to say Joseph.
No, Scott came to me and it was wow, guys.
I like that we also take this with a reverence.
So seriously.
There is a way to sort of deduce, like we pretend that that's a thing and it's just not.
No, as if we're diffusing a bomb. Do you know what I mean? This like
Rutelius. That's all like.
That was something, it started as something so dumb because you would just say them every week. You would just say like Sharon Louise Osbourne. And then you would, because you were reading the Wikipedia page, and then you one day just decided for me to guess it. And now that's become like the cornerstone of this entire podcast.
Let us not forget Rachel. Or not Rachel. What's their other daughter's name? Sharon's middle name is Rachel. What's Amy?
And I'm glad because I was literally about to bring her up. And it's funny. We don't do you want to guess her middle name?
No.
She's not really a part of it.
I don't think she counts.
You know what? She doesn't count because she has risen above. And also we'll get into it. It's in the document.
This is a good way to start the discussion for many reasons, because Amy famously wanted no part of this reality show. I could not pick her out in a lineup. But hilariously, Alex accidentally referred to her as Rachel, and Rachel is Amy Osbourne's middle name.
No.
Which I think is really funky.
Okay, something's happening, guys. Guys, something's happening. I don't know what. Something is happening.
I don't know. Chris guessed Michelle and all hell is breaking loose.
It's the magic of your green microphone, Dominic. Real quick. Ozzy Osbourne obviously is an absolute rock star. Period. The only reason they exist is because he's a rock star. He bit the head off of a bat. Remember that?
He is. Ozzy Osbourne is the Kim Kardashian of the Osbournes.
It's in the document.
It's on. Yes.
I saw them live. It's in the document, as we know. I saw them live. It says it right here. You didn't read it. He was basically dead. He was just like the guy
when it started. He was already out of it when that show. This
was like only a few years ago. This was like a few years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, he was like it was like watching, I don't know, a fucking skeleton on stage. Like,
of course. He's dead. He's like a meat suit that's just being carted around. Of course,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah. It was intense, but I did see them live. Sure, prior to the Osbournes, Ozzy Osbourne was in Black Sabbath.
Humongous, beyond
you're here because of him.
Star, like quintessential rock star, like larger than life.
Because Sharon was like his manager or on his team, like she was always intimately involved. Like everyone in show business knew who she was. She wasn't necessarily known to. So they knew what a lunatic she was. So obviously they thought that this would be a good reality show. Yes, revolutionized all of it. Like created a genre, right?
It's the cradle of life. It really
didn't create reality television, but it certainly created that family style version of it. And the format of that show we use as fixes all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Every day.
It is a blueprint, and we will put respect on the name The Osbournes, the television show, because of that, for sure.
Well, and much like the real, like what I will also say is like the Real World and Newlyweds, this is like the holy spirit of the three of those. That is what, like, because those three shows existed and were successful, that is why, like, I have had a career, basically.
Correct.
Right? Like, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is just a different version of the Osbournes for the first, like, 17 seasons.
The worst.
100%.
Yeah.
So, but you can also follow it back to that one. I can't remember that reality show in the 70s. It followed the Lutz family, but it was like
it was called like An American Family, I think.
Yeah, I think that was what it was called. So if we're going to be accurate, which we rarely are, we would say that was actually it. But then 30 years later, the Osbournes.
There's also a really good podcast for anyone that wants to listen about this family that they followed. It's called Spectacle. And I believe Mariah Smith is the person that did it. And it's the first season of Spectacle. Very good. And it's like a masterclass of reality television.
About the Lutzes?
Yes. It's about reality television, how it progressed. But the first couple episodes is about that family.
Interesting.
It's really good. I'll send it to you. Anyway. So the Osbourne, it's a humongous hit. They are
truly behemoth. Like they cranked out seasons quick, because they just wanted more content.
And they're just like in their house doing nothing, right? Like they're
in their house doing nothing. There's like 10,000 fucking dogs. But again, before this, the first red flag is that they had another child. And she was 16 years old when they started this fucking show. She was a child, and they chose the show over her. They had her move out of the house. so that they could film the show because she didn't want to be a fucking part of it.
Wait, is that true?
That's true.
She moved out?
She moved out at age 16 because she did not want to be a part of the Osbournes. Now, fast forward a million years, Sharon has been like, it's the biggest regret of my life. But like, bitch, you could have not done that.
Yeah,
but you did it. You could have not done it. You did it. You wanted the money. You wanted to be
of course.
The Osbournes. And they kicked their fucking 16-year-old daughter out. She had to move out of the house so that they could film this show because she didn't want to be a part of it. And that's fucked.
Alex, at the time, that was like no problem. Like that wasn't even a thought in her mind was like, what will happen? Like she was just like, on with the show, like bye. Yeah. Like we have all the money in the world, so we'll just like pay for your apartment somewhere. Well, like that wasn't even a thought.
Let's play devil's advocate here. Maybe Amy Osbourne was an ugly little bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but it is
maybe
true.
They're like, you're too hideous to be in this family, and look at this family. That's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah,
move out.
And that is true about like. If there's a child that like doesn't want to be associated,
it's
true that she was ugly. What I don't even know what she looks like. If she was in this room right now,
she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Amy Osbourne.
She's much more.
Oh my God, she's beautiful.
She's the most attractive child.
Oh yeah, she was like these fucking losers
Lunatics.
These unhinged, mentally ill idiots that I call my family. Like I don't want to be anywhere near this. She a
looks
supermodel.
like someone who would make fun of the Osbournes.
Yes,
like, she looks like someone who would look down on them.
She just like also I guess her reasoning for this in my extensive research was that she didn't want to film the show. She felt very uncomfortable with it, but she also felt very protective of the family. And their response was, "Get the fuck out!
Yeah, like get out of here!
Show." You disgusting bitch.
You care about us? Like, you dumb idiot. Yeah.
We don't care about you. Get out.
Clearly. And they shipped her right off.
Flag.
I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous. Like, it's like out of control.
She's
how
beautiful.
pretty she is. Yeah.
It looks
she's
like
stunning.
those shouldn't be her parents.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
No, really. She got every good gene and then some, and like some that skipped a generation. And that's what made her.
And throughout the show, they were up to some shit, but really, like, the biggest thing was that Jack was constantly, like, shitting all over Ozzy's tour manager and telling her to, like, get a real job and all of this other stuff. And
they all just, like, yelled at each other, right? I just
all the time.
All I remember was, like, it was just beep, 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 beep. Like, that was, I remember, like, my mom and I would, like, secretly watch it. My dad would, like, come at home and be like, why are you like, this is gutter trash. Like, what are you two watching? Like, don't like watch this. And my mom would be like, turn it off. Like, let's switch it. Like, let's see. Cause it would just be like a one long beat because they'd all be screaming swear words at each other.
Constantly. And Ozzy, of course, was like,
incoherent for most of it. Yeah.
Most of it. And he was stoned for all of it. He went on the record being like, I was stoned for every single episode of that show, which it makes sense because every time they would ask him something, he'd be like, like you couldn't understand
couldn't
anything
even
he was
speak.
Saying.
Right. There's a meme that still gets put around today where it's like him sitting on the couch and then it's like on the lower third, it's like phone rings and then it's like, what the fuck is that? Like, and it's like, it's like,
and he's still alive, which is the thing. Like, this is more than 20 years ago,
and he's still incoherent. And he was incoherent, by the way, when I saw him live. He's just been incoherent this whole fucking time. That's what you get for snorting ants and eating bats. I don't know.
You know, whenever you're like, oh no, like a health problem, like maybe I'm dying. It's like, no, Ozzy Osbourne's like been that times 17,000 for 3 decades.
He's
like you're
dead.
You're okay.
Bernie,
like you
are Bernie. They are like you said. He's just a pile of meat.
Propping him up.
They want in a recent interview. They want to move back to London so bad, but they keep saying they can't because Ozzy of his health problems. Like, just get on a plane. Like, what?
You're rich. You're fucking rich.
Or I said last week or the other week, a boat. Get on a boat.
Yeah.
And
get on.
That's the fix. They're Bon Voyage reality show. Get out of our country. I might actually use that pitch.
Get on the submarine.
The submersible. Dear God in heaven, Alex. All right. So the Osbournes, obviously, like, I mean, my generation knows them from that. Like, they don't know him from Black Sabbath. Like, we were too young. They know the Osbournes from
Right.
The Osbournes
my
show.
parents know Ozzy Osbourne from Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're in their 70s, and so is he.
Yeah. The whole world is introduced to them in a whole different way. Although they're like controversial because they're all just swearing the whole time and screaming at each other, it is like gangbusters. Like the show is
so fun.
Beyond successful.
Sharon Osbourne's almost like a Kris Jenner precursor.
Absolutely.
She was always incredibly intuitive about what she needed to do on the show, what she needed to say off the show to keep this going. Like a very much the brains behind the operation. You know, just even the shit that she would say on the show, the stuff she would do, the throwing of the ham over the fence.
Oh my God.
Vividly.
Yes.
I mean, it was
wow.
Whatever we were calling viral moments back then, that was one. Like, it was just insane.
She was fighting
I
with
just
her
remember
neighbor.
the visual of her throwing the ham. What actually happened?
And
was
so
it Thanksgiving?
Her response was to like throw a fucking ham at him. Why wouldn't she have a ham?
But was it like why did she have a ham? Because it was
either way, it was fantastic.
I can't remember.
Sure. Well, and there you go, not to jump ahead, but like there you go of like her retaliating with like unhinged things. Like we saw it. Like she's now done this like to like 97 million people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Here's why I think we should stick with Sharon for a minute, because everyone else in the family is sort of like, she is the real nucleus of it. And she is the reason any of them even have careers. You know what I mean? Like she was so instrumental in making that show successful. And she is so savvy and so calculating that anytime Kelly says or does something and her mother's not around, you understand she did not get that gene from her mother, because Kelly Osbourne is sort of like a PR nightmare in that she says and does things that are so untoward and so unrelatable and snobbish. You know, I mean, sort of the opposite of what someone in her position should be doing.
That's no. Sharon is the worst. She is a monster. She has been outspokenly racist.
Sharon's a monster.
On The View, The Talk, whatever that show that she was on, The Talk. This is fast forwarding right now.
The Talk or whatever. Yeah.
But it's in red. In the document, she goes, okay, so they have a fucking podcast, the Osbournes
in the document.
Podcast. It's horrible. She goes, Jack asks her what she thinks about the Puff Daddy situation. Her quote is, all I have to say about Sean, is that it's not my world. I don't know anything about that world. So I don't know what he does. And Jack is like, wait, this isn't about what world he's in. Like, you've seen famous people be accused of things and like take advantage of people. And she's like, yeah, but I don't know his situation. And then Kelly chimes in to defend her, defending Sean.
Dear God in heaven. Well,
that's her though. That's her being like, not wanting to say too much, being diplomatic. And she always does err on the side of like, oh, show business sucks. And, you know, she talks about the business a lot and what to do and say. I'm not surprised that she said that. I mean, you can view it as her defending a rapist and an abuser, etc. Obviously, but in her head, that's not what's happening. And she's just like, celebrities get attacked. Like, she has a very different view of what it is. I'm not making excuses for her. She is an absolute beast. There's no doubt. But she's not a beast without being in control of it. I feel like she knows everything. Like Chris said, I think she knows everything that she says.
And her son is the one asking her this question as if he's like, what? He's trying to like get a gotcha to his mom. No, it's set up so that they can be on people.com's Instagram the next day saying Sharon Osbourne defending Diddy, quote, he's not in my world, or it's not my world.
Right.
Am I wrong? It's horrible, but like they're so gone that like nothing matters.
Also Sharon Osbourne's way of saying, yes, everyone in the business
is a rapist.
Sean Combs was sex trafficking. Yeah. Just like everyone from Meryl to Oprah knew what Harvey Weinstein was doing. But I'm not going to come up here and just say it. That's what she's doing. She doesn't want to.
The shit that comes out of her mouth, man, I just can't. I'm like, bitch, do you not hear yourself? Like, you're literally.
No, but Alex,
she hears herself.
It's all, okay.
You're mad, but like, again, the Ozempic stuff Like
the
why?
Ozempic stuff.
But before they got on Ozempic, remember it was like Ozempic is like the easy way out and like this and that and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then when they got on Ozempic, it was like, if you're mad at Ozempic, like you're just mad
poor.
that you're too poor. Yeah.
Right.
Like
you're poor.
All these comments.
You can't afford it.
And again, there's like 20 years.
That's Kelly who's saying this, who doesn't listen to what she's saying. That's the difference.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
When something horrible comes out of Kelly's mouth, she wants to cover it up because it might not actually be what she means. But when Sharon says horrible shit, she means every ounce of it. Like she's
No, but again, fair. Like all this is, for any of these people saying this stuff publicly, it's to get in the press, period.
Kelly saying on The View, the Latino comment, when she said that if you kick every Latino out of the country, who's going to clean your
toilets? Yeah.
The look on her face after
she said it.
I can't watch it.
No, it's terrible.
Because you hear the audience like go, what?
They go, and she goes, no, I don't mean it that way. Blah, 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 blah.
Because wasn't Anna Navarro sitting at the table when she said it?
My queen, you know, my queen.
I can't.
And she said, that's not all that Latinos do. Right. And Kelly was like, no. That's not how I meant it. That's not how I meant it. And it's like, bitch, but that's what came out of your mouth. But she later went on record saying that is the worst thing that she's ever done.
She regrets that.
Of course she regrets it.
But that's her world, though. She's a spoiled, rich, white kid.
They're the Nepo babies they're the biggest Nepo babies on the planet. Like they're they're beyond. So, but we're jumping around a lot, but like Kelly tries to have a music career.
Tries.
Kelly, like, they like basically like do the whole rigmarole of like every other MTV person. We're like, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then Kelly for a while lands on Fashion Police and the E red carpet for like E News. So like because was it on MTV? Was the Osbournes on MTV? Yeah, right?
Yeah. Did she do that before or after she had a gastric sleeve?
I think after.
It's like it had to have been after.
And there was, and I have to say, this made me so mad because I worship Joan Rivers. I knew Joan Rivers. I worked at her show. It was my first job in television. And to see Joan have to host Fashion Police with Kelly Osbourne.
Yeah. As if Juliana Rancic wasn't enough.
Right. It hurt my feelings every time I saw it. And apparently, like, when Joan died, Kelly Osbourne was everywhere weeping. And look, if they were close, I apologize, but I'm just like, why the fuck are you going to Kelly Osbourne for this silly job she had, graciously being allowed by Joan to be on that show? Like, why aren't you talking to other people? Why do I have to hear Kelly Osbourne? I think she got a giant Joan tattoo. It's like, oh brother, Melissa, I'm paying to have it removed.
But she said that it was like losing a second mom.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because she never had a mom because Sharon was
at least she was allowed to live there.
Well, at least
she didn't have to move to the Days Inn for 3 years.
She was fucking entertaining, man. There was one episode where she's talking about how like she gets a call from the gynecologist on what to do to prepare her vagina for the gynecologist. And she's talking to Ozzy about it. And Ozzy goes, make me an appointment with the gynecologist. And she's just going off on a tangent about her vagina. She's hilarious.
Sharon,
on that show.
You're talking about.
No. Kelly, as a teenager.
Oh, brother.
It's horrible. It's freaking awful.
Talking about that with Ozzy, that's
Ozzy. Then she just goes on another tangent about how she says, my vagina, my teeth, and my car, all my business.
Oh my God. I mean, that's funny. See, that's why we like the show. You know what I mean?
She's entertaining. It's entertaining. The show is entertaining. Now she's not.
And when she was on E! News and when she was on Fashion Police, like that was her big like resurgence. And it was like, oh, look, she's classy now. And she like lost all this weight and she looks really good. And she like dyed her hair like a color, but it was like lilac and like chic and sophisticated. And like, she really did turn her image around and then like just kept appearing on stuff and saying the wrong thing and doing the wrong thing and blah, blah, blah. And then this. And no matter what, it's like, she's just one of those people that like, you know, if you work at like Us Weekly, they just have her cell phone like on speed dial to be like, what do you think about this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think of Ozempic? What do you think about blank? Like, what do you think about like, I don't know, anything. Like, what do you think of the Olympics? Like, and she'll just give a quote and then they just run it.
I feel like Kelly and Jack, to a certain extent, were also part of that aughts and tens, like Perez Hilton moment where they were 100%. Like lumped in with all the,
100%. They were always a picture of Kelly in like a weird dress with like really bad hair, like going to a club. Yeah. They really
pink and black hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was like cool. She was like cool then. Do you know what I mean? Like that was like being like that was like, but it was something. I don't know.
It was something.
It was something.
Horrendous. Horrendous is something.
Kelly at a certain point, like I was like, oh, she like broke away from the family and was like doing well. Then Sharon is on the talk and she's like doing pretty well for a while, like until she gets in running with some shit. Like she does really well. And you're like, oh, okay, like she's like doing good. And there's a point where they're like, fine. Jack gets sober. He like has a really like public struggle with sobriety. He gets sober. He like goes on the straight and narrow. And I think he host like a travel show. He got kids.
I don't know what he does. They have a media company called like the Osbournes.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
It's so fucking stupid. It's trash. I linked it in the document.
I'm sure it's like, no, I'm sure they have no. Every celebrity has a media company that's not real. So sure. Yeah. But like, that's probably attached to whatever. He has like he had a show where he was like traveling with his son or something. I don't remember what it was, but he had a show that was like he seemingly is doing well, which is good. And then I remember like Kelly obviously has her run-ins with like her comments on things and this and that. And she kind of like she gets off of E! News and she gets off of Fashion Police. Like Fashion Police ends, like E! News doesn't have her anymore. And then I remember when Sharon, this was like, after Lemonade, again, Beyonce like comes out with Lemonade, which like shakes the world's foundation. And like, I remember Sharon like coming out at the talk with like a glass of lemonade being like, I'm divorcing Ozzy. Do we remember this?
No. But it sounds like her, as though she were inspired by it and that she was done.
Yes. And she came out with this lemonade and everyone was like, it was like so fucking fake, but it was like, Sharon, like, what are you drinking? And she's like, lemonade. And it was like so obvious that that's what it was. And then there was all of this press of like, they're getting divorced. They're not going to be together anymore. And she like talked about how he cheated on her all the time and blah, blah, blah. And like,
this I remember. I don't remember like, the glass of lemonade, but I do remember like, I just remember thinking, how is he even able to fuck anybody? Because he seems like he can't even like get out of a chair without a team of people. And the other thing was, who's fucking Ozzy Osbourne? Like,
no one.
Who's going to be this mummy's mistress? Like, I just can't even understand. I mean, I guess from the money, but good Lord.
Okay, if we're going to talk about their marriage, their divorce, their breakup, their renewal of vows, the thousands of times that they went on air being like, I'm going to divorce. We need to talk about the 1989
the murder incident. When he tried to murder her. Wait, he tried to kill her. Before we get there. Wait. Before we get there. But before we get there, I just want to end that story of like, it was this whole thing where she was going to divorce him and they were going to like get divorced and this and that. And she was done and she was standing up for herself, blah, blah. And then, of course, like once the press died down from it, they just never got divorced.
They just never got divorced. They renewed their vows. Yeah. Right. They renewed their vows after that. Yeah. Again.
After she publicly humiliated him. I mean, he's like whatever, but I'm saying like she went on a national television show and was like, this man is a menace to society. And then was just like, okay, never mind. Again, because it's all driven by the press. Like, she'll be in the rags if she says that, if she brings out her lemonade. And it was just the most hollow and fake thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh, wow, she really just will do anything for the press. Anyway, turning it over to you, Alex. In 1989, apparently, he tries to murder. Ozzy tries to murder Sharon. Go ahead.
Tries to murder Sharon. He said, I've decided you have to go before lunging at her. That's the quote. I've decided you have to go before trying to strangle her. It's real. She calls the police. He's arrested immediately. Sharon, of course, doesn't press charges. So was it real? We don't know.
No, I said he's not well. It's real. I didn't say no. I believe this is real. He's just not well.
Alex, believe women.
Yeah, no.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. No. So he says, I've decided you have to go, strangles her. She calls the police. And later on in the this is like 2001 or whatever, Ozzy says he was totally insane from all the drink and drugs he was doing. And then Ozzy in 2002 says, I wasn't exactly Mr. Charming when I drank booze. But that's 1989. He tries to kill her. And
so they're drinking. Wait, let's slow this down. So they're drinking and he's like fucked up, obviously. And he literally just looks at her and says, you've got to go. You've got to go. And then lunges at her to strangle her to death.
Yes. Yeah.
And then she screams and runs away and then calls the police. Wait, right? No.
Okay. So 1989, he tries to kill her. They're drunk. The police come.
Sure.
She never presses charges.
No, of course, because the next day she's like, oh, he was drunk. Yeah, no. Classic.
He went to rehab for 3 months or something.
Sure.
It didn't get clean. And then they stayed together and they filmed the Osbournes, 2002, 2013, Ozzy and Sharon denied divorce rumors. It just goes on and on. Then 2016, Ozzy and Sharon briefly separate after Ozzy's infidelity. 2016 again, their marriage is back on track. So they separate in May. They're back on track in July of 2016. And then they renew their vows. It's crazy. Then they get divorced again.
But this is all just like, here's a story. None of this is like real. It's like, how can we stay in the press? Oh, we get divorced and then we get not divorced, blah, 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 this, that. But like, you don't remarry this man. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's insane.
But I'm saying once they get divorced, any young guy would be like, oh, I'm going to get with Sharon Osbourne and like get a comeuppance off this. You know what I'm saying? Guess, they want to get their, like she probably had all kinds of guys like chasing after her to like just get in the spotlight. She's not going back to Ozzy. This is all to me, and I'm not trying to be conspiracy theory about it, but like to me, this is all like they think they're like the royal family. Do you know what I mean? That they're like
they are the royal family.
Yeah, they really are.
They are the royal family, except for that they can't move back to.
Yeah, but they are in America.
They're the royal family of America. They're not even
American.
Oh my God, they're not even American. Not a single one of those brats was even born here. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
They're incredibly English. Go back.
They really are like with the Kardashians in the sense of like, they just will always be reported on. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, they make it so that they're always reported on. I mean, the fact is that right now we're in 2024. They've remade the Osbournes into a podcast. It's the four of them. They sit around. Ozzy's dead. They've got him on puppet strings.
I mean, it's kind of smart. That's kind of smart.
Sure, but they just keep doing the same shit. And most of those episodes of the Osbournes is just them replaying old Osbournes clips.
Right.
I know, but that's fun. Like, I'm into that. Like, to me, that's like what I would have pitched them to fix themselves as. It's like, bring us back to when you guys weren't like racist monsters. You know what I mean? Like and that's the other thing we're dodging is like, we did bring it up a little bit, but when the talk was like going down, or when it was like not Me Too, but like Time's Up and things like when all the movements were happening, people were like, Sharon Osbourne is like abusive and a monster.
Oh God.
And all of these people came out of the woodwork to be like, this is like something she casually said to me on a Tuesday. And it was like the most horrific thing you've ever heard in your life.
There's receipts. There's receipts.
Yeah.
I know so many people that worked at her daytime talk show, which was around, it was like her first gig when the Osbournes were done. She might've done them in tandem actually, but she was terrible. She was terrible to people. She was really not equipped to be like the star of a daytime show where she had to go to work every day, which is so funny because she was so famously like reviled at that first job that it was hilarious that she just then went over to another daytime talk show. I guess, splitting it with four other hosts sort of lessened the load on her. And I also always wondered why on the top, and I know a lot of people who work there, and I still love you all, but just forgive me when I ask this question. Why was she so revered as though the actual queen was hosting the talk show with them? Like even Julie Chen would call her like Mrs. O and all this shit. And like everyone sort of bowed down to her as though she had done something more than just be
on a reality show.
This lunatic from the Osbournes. I get it. And sure, that was great. And it was an iconic thing to do. But like the way they would like defer to her for life advice and all this shit. I'm like,
as if she was like Princess Kate. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it was always weird to me. Like, why the deference? It's not Judi Dench sitting there. It's fucking Sharon Osbourne. Like, why?
Yeah. No, you're right.
So the recent moment that they're having really is, they've been on our list for a while, but recently they've popped up because they made remarks. Ozzy made remarks about not liking Britney Spears' dance videos.
Oh, we didn't even think about this. I forgot this even happened.
Oh my God.
That's why I thought we were even doing them at this moment, because it's so fresh where she told them to kindly fuck off, that I thought that was what made this an express version of this podcast.
The most boring family that has ever existed. my
Which is
queen.
a silly thing for her to say, but she's obviously pissed, because who the fuck are they to say like, I'm uncomfortable when I watch her dancing. Like, I'm uncomfortable watching Ozzy Osbourne just speak, like doing in a chair.
But again, guess what'll get them immediately in the press? Talking about Britney.
Sometimes Sharon is good, though. She'll give us little tidbits about James Corden because she doesn't like him. Like, I like when she talks shit about James Corden.
No, but again, it's like her being mean to someone to like get press. You know what I mean? And like, yes, sometimes we think it's fun. But when Britney posted that thing, I was like, why is she yelling at the Osbournes? And I had to Google it and find out. But like, Zila does not play, okay? As we've seen. No. Like, she's not ready, and those knives are sharp. And like, the Britney army is like, fuck they can go fuck them. Like, how
now that the Britney army is after them, they really need to leave.
They gotta get out
for their own safety.
That Instagram post is so unhinged.
It's the best.
I read that out loud in bed to my husband.
It's beautiful.
It's incredible. It's a work of art. I want to get it all the way printed and frame it on my fucking wall.
We're going to do a Patreon, which is just going to be me reading all 5 pages of it as Britney.
Thank God.
We think that people, I don't know, Chris and I are also unhinged and think that people need to pay to
listen to hear it. Yeah.
That's how valuable it is watching my uvula pop off, or listening to it rather. We need to get into fixing territory. It's that time. Now we've brought ourselves current, and it is time. Christopher Michael DeRosa, do you have a fix for the Osbournes?
Yes, I do. I just thought of it right now. Sharon, Ozzy, Kelly, and Jack. Not Amy.
Not Amy.
You've crossed the line that you can't come back from, and that's insulting Britney Spears publicly. She's not happy. I'm not happy. The American people are not happy. And truly, from this hour of us just going back through, they really are, now that none of them actually have real jobs in entertainment, they really are just like clickbaity people.
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying, why don't they get on a boat? And that is my fix for them. I want a reality show where they get on a boat, we film it. It's the Osbournes at sea. And they get on some kind of vessel where there's like waiters. Like, they're basically on a cruise ship, but it's smaller. And they're there, and like there's a camera crew filming them like living on this boat, trying to get Ozzy back to the United Kingdom so he can like finally pass in peace. And we didn't even bring up that Sharon is Ozempic has like ruined her body forever, where she like can't gain any weight. Like, I want to see her like do an eating contest. Like, I want to see like Kelly and Jack like mingle with the staff of the boat. Is it a cruise? Like, is it an Osbournes cruise that they film, and we get like the Queen Mary too, like, and we try to get Ozzy back home. And then once they dock in Great Britain, they are like, goodbye, America. And they truly just like walk off into the English countryside, and we never hear about them again. Because honestly, I'm done.
Okay.
And that is my fix. Like, they've done enough. I need them gone, baby, gone.
So you're basically stealing my fix, which was to launch them
into space, I guess, sure. But
true. And I also did mention the boat earlier. I was sort of kidding about it, but it's a good pitch.
we can't come back from this. There's nothing left. Like they have no.
I'm going to go in another
Dominic,
direction.
go ahead.
I'm going in another direction. If we say we're going to fix them, I don't want to cop out and just say go into the sunset. How do we fix them? A Vegas residency.
Oh. God damn it.
Ozzy Osbourne is the opening act for Britney Spears. And that is my fix.
What is so Sharon, Kelly, and Jack are just
we'll shoot the whole thing. It's obviously it's a reality show, but it's sort of like the Osbournes on crack. Like we're gonna do the show.
Yeah, it's one final number.
Yeah.
Damn it.
We get Britney back in the mix.
God damn you.
Britney can heal them. Like who else?
Damn you. You threw Britney going back to Vegas in this, and now that's fuck. I'm so fucked. Okay.
Well, you don't know. We don't know what's in Alex's head.
Alex, what do you think? Just verbalize your thoughts. How do you feel?
God. Let me think. Okay, so cruise ship, we're watching Sharon eat hot dogs. They're going back to England, then we never see them again. Or a Vegas residency.
I'm talking about Britney Spears going into Ozzy Osbourne's dressing room and saying, "How do you like this dance, Ozzy?" And just like dancing at him while he's unable to get up from his chair before they wheel him out.
Being recorded. Is it being recorded?
Yes. Yes.
It's got to be Dominic.
No, how can you not vote for that?
Yeah, it's Dominic. How can you not vote for that?
Sharon, get Britney out of my dressing room.
And Britney terrorizes them with the knife dance. Like it's our dream of dreams.
I'm not going to rest until this bitch cuts somebody. You really aren't.
She's just dancing in the dressing room.
Chris has brought up these knives so many times.
I want them back. She wants them back. We all want them back. Wow. I mean,
incredible.
I could do a full another 30 minutes on the fact that Sharon Osbourne had how they had so many comments about Ozempic and then all took it. And now Sharon's like, body chemistry has been wrecked because of it.
She's fucked.
It's amazing. But again, of course, this is what happens so that it can be 17 articles and photos and this and that. It's
and
insane.
now she's like in every single interview. She's a staunch she's completely against Ozempic. She's like in every interview talking about how young people shouldn't have access to Ozempic.
What a surprise! Yeah,
like she's making money off of her dislike of Ozempic after she took it and now weighs 98 pounds and looks like the Crypt Keeper because she couldn't be a worse
spokesperson for that medication, by the way. Like,
oh God, wow. Well, Dominic, beautiful win, beautiful.
Like, that
was masterful. Shoehorning Britney into this and like, wow.
Well, I gotta say, I don't know that I would have thought of that if you hadn't said that after all of the things this family has done, that the line cross was that they made fun of Britney Spears.
Yes.
I'm like, let's take it further.
Yeah, incredible. An incredible
Alex, what a pleasure to have you on in this role. We feel like as a dedicated listener, this is an organic graduation for you to be.
Yes, correct.
A guest here.
Beautiful.
An honor, a privilege for me.
Do you want people to find you on the internet or would you like to live in secret? Because this would be your moment to tell people where, if they've enjoyed you here, how they could enjoy you more.
You can find me on the internet, on Instagram. It's just my name, Alex Tsuneta. You can figure out how to spell that. And you can see my dogs. That's what I have going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot of videos of my dogs. They're incredible.
They're beautiful.
They're incredible.
Lovely.
Alex, thank you. Dominic, where can people find you?
The website's domitary.com. The socials are at Dominick Pupa.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I turned into Ozzy Osbourne. I did one line as if I turned into him. And that's it. Chris, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at the DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People, and you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/fixingfamouspeople. I wish you both well. And as always, where's Shelley? Goodbye.